Hunger is the #1 reason most people fall off their fat loss plan. I've guided tens of thousands of people through fat loss challenges, and the ones who succeed long-term are the ones who figure out how to stay full while eating less. So today, I'm going to give you 10 low-calorie snacks that fill you up, explaining what makes them so powerful for fat loss, and giving you clear instructions for how to prepare each one, and I'm saving a surprise one for the end. Not one, but 2 ways you can turn pasta itself into a low-calorie snack. And then as a bonus, I'll give you a free guide with all of these snacks, plus a bunch of other delicious low-calorie snack recipes that you can use on your fat loss journey. So to start, let's talk about a snack most people already have sitting in their cupboard and almost always eat the wrong way. Let's talk popcorn. Now, I know when you hear popcorn, you might be picturing the buttery microwave bag or the giant tub at the movie theater. That's going to take your weight loss goals the wrong direction. I'm talking about air-popped popcorn, which is just the kernels, a little bit of heat. When you do it this way, it comes in at just about 30 calories per cup. So 3 full cups, which is a realistic, satisfying snack, is less than 100 calories. And here's what most people don't realize about popcorn. It is actually a whole grain. In fact, it's one of the only snack foods that counts as an actual whole grain serving on its own. That means gram for gram, it has about the same antioxidant levels as a lot of fruits and vegetables. It's also a great source of fiber, with 3 cups giving you about 3.5 grams of fiber, which slows down digestion, keeps you fuller longer than most other snacks at this calorie level. Now, if I wanted to enjoy popcorn, here's how I'd prepare it. Get a bag of organic popcorn kernels, non-GMO, costs almost nothing. It lasts you for months. Pop them in a pot on a stove with a teaspoon or 2 of coconut oil. You can use avocado oil as well. When you hear the popping slow down to a couple seconds in between pops, pull it off the heat and then season it with some sea salt while it's still hot, because that's when the seasoning actually sticks to it. We use sea salt. You could use a drizzle of olive oil, which is actually really good for fat burning load. You could even use a little drizzle of butter if you wanted to. You're going to increase some of the calorie intake there, but it is absolutely delicious. Nutritional yeast is an option. If you like it more savory or almost cheesy without adding any dairy, you could do some cinnamon if you wanted something a little sweeter at nighttime, plus that helps your blood sugar levels. You could try some smoked paprika. You could try some garlic powder if you want to feel a little bit more of that chip replacement. Point being, don't overeat it. And if you're struggling getting into fat burning mode, this might not be your best snack right away, but it is a very low calorie, light option that you can dress up with some seasonings that add some benefit to fill the gaps so you're not going hungry and you can stick with your plan. Next up, #2 is one of the most satisfying low-calorie foods you can eat, and one that most people treat as a summer side dish instead of a real snack: watermelon. A cup of diced watermelon is about 45 calories, so a generous 2-cup snack is less than 100 calories. The reason why it's so filling at that calorie count is because it's 92% water. So it physically takes up space in your stomach before your body even begins digesting it, which is one of the fastest ways to feel full. What makes watermelon stand out from the other low-calorie fruits is the fact that it's one of the richest sources of lycopene. Lycopene is one of the most studied compounds for heart health, and it's been linked to lower blood pressure, better circulation, and reduced risk of heart disease. So you're staying full and protecting your heart. Now, here's the trick to picking a good watermelon at the store. Look for a yellow or buttery colored spot at the bottom of the watermelon. That's where it sat on the vine, and a deep yellow spot means it ripened fully before being picked. You also want it to feel heavy for its size and then sound hollow when you tap it. And when you bring it home, you actually want to store the whole melon at room temperature. That actually preserves more of the lycopene. And then you want to wait until after you cut it to put it into the fridge. Next, #3, I'm going to show you how to turn one of the fakest looking snacks in the grocery store into something that actually fits this list and actually turns into a health food: Jell-O, or gummies, depending on how you make the recipe. Most people only know Jell-O as the boxed stuff. the bright red, bright green, sugar-free kind packed with artificial sweeteners, artificial flavors, food dyes, or lots of sugar itself. But homemade Jell-O, made with grass-fed gelatin and a few clean ingredients, is a completely different food. The version I'm about to show you is one of my kids' favorites, whether it is in Jell-O squares or actual gummies. Electrolyte Jell-O or electrolyte gummies. They taste like candy, but each one comes with just a few calories. Gelatin is also about 30% glycine. It's an amino acid that has a lot of benefits, but one has been shown to improve sleep quality when you have it before bed. So this makes Jell-O a great snack at nighttime if you're the kind of person who just wants something sweet after dinner. Because instead of grabbing cookies or ice cream or chips, you've got a cold, sweet, low-calorie snack already waiting in the fridge that actually helps you sleep better too. On top of that, the snack recipe comes loaded with electrolytes, which keep you hydrated, support healthy energy levels, and help curb cravings caused by mineral deficiencies that most people don't even realize that they have. Now, here's how I recommend making them. In a small saucepan, add 2 cups of water and then slowly whisk in 4 tablespoons of unflavored grass-fed gelatin. You can get this at the store. And when you whisk it in, it'll make sure it doesn't clump. Warm it over low heat, whisking consistently until the gelatin fully dissolves into the clear liquid, but don't let it boil. Remove it from the heat, and then what we like to do is whisk in the juice of 1 lemon. Your liver loves this, your waistline loves this, and then we add at least a scoop of our electrolytes. There's a strawberry lemonade flavor, there's a berry frost flavor, there's a lemon lime flavor. My kids enjoy them all. The electrolytes double as the sweetener because they already have stevia or monk fruit, depending on which version of ours you pick. You pour the mixture into an 8x8 pan or into silicone gummy molds, either one's your choice, and then you refrigerate it for at least 3 hours. It'll give you about 10 Jell-O squares or 30 to 40 gummies, enough to snack on for the whole rest of the week. Snack 4 and 5, let's talk about 2 of the most underrated high-protein snacks for fat loss, and 2 of the easiest to grab when you're hungry in between meals. I go to these a lot. Cottage cheese, Nurse Living Good goes to Greek yogurt. These are both dairy-based, high in protein, and incredibly filling for the calories. A third of a cup of full-fat cottage cheese is around 165 calories with 19 grams of protein. A third of a cup of full-fat plain Greek yogurt is around 125 calories with 14 grams of protein. That's roughly the same amount of protein you'd get from a chicken breast in a snack you can eat with a spoon straight out of the container. Now, I always recommend going with the full-fat version, and I know that sounds counterintuitive when we're talking about low-calorie snacks, but here's why. Full-fat dairy is more satiety, which means you'll stay full longer and eat less throughout the day. It also has fewer additives because low-fat and non-fat versions usually have gum thickeners and stabilizers added back in to make up for the texture that was lost when the fat was removed. And the calorie difference is much smaller than a lot of people assume. Usually only about 30 to 50 calories per serving by keeping the fat in. So you're paying a small calorie cost for a snack that fills you up better and has cleaner ingredients. Now, here's the difference between these 2 snacks. The protein in cottage cheese is mostly casein, which is a slow digesting protein that releases amino acids gradually over a 6 to 8 hour period of time. That makes it especially powerful as a bedtime snack because your body keeps repairing and building muscle while you sleep. And the more muscle you have, the more calories your body burns at rest, even when you're doing nothing. Now, Greek yogurt, on the other hand, has a mix of casein and whey, which digests faster and is loaded with probiotics that support your gut health. That makes it a better choice earlier in the day when you want quick energy and a digestion boost, but it will bring that insulin spike up a little bit. Now, when you're at the store, look for the plain version of either one with a short ingredient list. Ideally, just milk, cream, salt, live cultures. I would avoid anything with carrageenan, gums, food starches, or any form of added sugar, which is hiding in a lot of the flavored versions. Try to go organic if you can, grass-fed when you can, because the quality of the milk matters more than most people realize. If you want to make sure you're purchasing the right kind at the store, I actually have a free app that allows you to scan barcodes and ingredients of foods to determine whether or not it's a healthy option. I'll include a link below in the description for that app. It's free. Now, the simplest way to prepare these two is just grab a small bowl, add 3/4 of a cup, and top it with a handful of berries, maybe a sprinkle of cinnamon. The cottage cheese, I just eat straight up, but it can be blended into a high protein chocolate mousse when you just combine it with my protein powder, my chocolate collagen, and then blend it. Comes in at under 200 calories, kind of has a, like an ice cream consistency to it. So I'll include a recipe to that if you want to have some fun with the cottage cheese, along with a bunch of other delicious low calorie snack recipes in a free guide at the end of this video. Number 6, let's talk about a snack that delivers serious crunch and satisfaction with very few calories. Celery or carrots with some hummus. If you've never made hummus before, it's a thick Middle Eastern dip made with chickpeas, which are a type of bean, along with olive oil, tahini, lemon juice, and usually garlic. It's creamy, it's filling, it pairs perfectly with any raw vegetables. The reason why this combo is so good for fat loss is because the veggies are loaded up with fiber, and then the hummus gives you protein, healthy fats, and some more fiber, which means together they keep you full for hours and stop the kind of cravings that lead to overeating later in the day. It's also extremely low calorie. A cup of celery is only about 15 calories. A cup of chopped carrots is about 50. 2 tablespoons of hummus is around 70 to 80 calories. So a full serving comes out anywhere to be 85 to 130 calories, depending on which vegetable that you go with. Now, I know a lot of people might lean towards carrots over celery because carrots taste better, but each of these vegetables has its own unique benefits, and they're both worth eating regularly. Carrots, for example, are loaded with beta-carotene and lutein, which are 2 powerful antioxidants that support your eyes, your skin, and your immune system. Celery, on the other hand, contains natural compounds that have been shown in clinical research to help lower blood pressure, sometimes at levels comparable to medications. So if high blood pressure is something you're dealing with, eating about 4 stalks of celery a day is a smart idea. When you're buying ingredients at the store, look for a hummus that has a short, traditional ingredient list. Chickpeas, tahini, olive oil, lemon juice, garlic, salt, water. That's it. Avoid hummus made with bad oils, canola, soybean, or any added gums or thickeners. And of course, try to go organic with any of the ingredients or the vegetables whenever you can. Next up is one of the cheapest, most portable, and most filling snacks on the entire list: hard-boiled eggs. 2 hard-boiled eggs comes in at around 156 calories, 12 grams of high-quality protein, no carbs, and a bunch of essential vitamins and minerals. So gram for gram, you're getting more protein per calorie than most protein bars without any of the fillers or additives or artificial sweeteners. Now, here's why eggs are so powerful for fat loss. There's actually a study from Louisiana State University that put 2 groups of overweight adults on the same calorie-restricted diet. One group ate eggs for breakfast, and the other group ate bagels with the exact same number of calories. After 8 weeks, the egg group lost 65% more weight and 34% more belly fat than the bagel group. And the reason for that comes down to 2 things. First, eggs lower a hormone in your body called ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, the thing that makes you feel hungry in the first place. So when you eat them, your body actually stops sending you hunger signals for hours. Second, eggs have one of the highest protein quality scores of any food on the planet, meaning your body absorbs and uses almost all of the protein in them, which is what keeps you feeling full and supports lean muscle as you age. Hard-boiled eggs are also one of the easiest low-calorie, high-protein snacks to prepare and eat. When making them, all you need to do is bring a pot of water to a full boil before you add the eggs. Then gently lower the eggs into the water, boil them for 10 to 12 minutes, 10 minutes for a slightly soft center, 12 minutes for fully firm all the way through. When the timer goes off, transfer them straight into a bowl of ice water for about 5 minutes. That ice bath stops the cooking and makes the shells dramatically easier to peel. I recommend boiling 6 to 8 eggs at the start of every week, keeping them in the fridge unpeeled. They'll stay good for up to a week, and you'll always have a high-protein snack ready to grab. Now, when you're at the store, the best eggs you can buy are pasture raised. That means the hens were actually allowed to roam outside and forage, which results in more omega-3s, more vitamin D, and a lot more of the nutrients I just talked about. You can actually tell a high-quality egg by the color of the yolk. A deep vivid orange yolk means a healthier hen and a more nutritious egg. Number 8, this next snack is one most people would never expect to see on a fat loss list: hot chocolate. And no, I don't mean the powdered packets that are loaded with refined sugar and artificial flavorings. When you make it from scratch with the right ingredients, hot chocolate becomes a snack that actually supports fat loss while satisfying any chocolate craving that you might have. A full mug comes in at around 110 to 130 calories, which is less than half of what you get at Starbucks for the same drink. Now, here's why this works so well as a fat loss snack. Real cacao, which is the unprocessed form of what becomes chocolate, is actually one of the most antioxidant-rich foods on the planet. Gram for gram, it has up to 40 times more antioxidants than blueberries. And those same antioxidants have been shown to lower blood pressure, improve circulation, and even help your body break down fat more efficiently. There's also research showing that cacao lowers ghrelin, that hormone in your body that triggers hunger. Now, in order to make it the right way, pour 1 cup of your favorite milk into a small saucepan. Now, you want 2 tablespoons of cacao powder to go in next, and then we want to flavor/sweeten it. I use a scoop of my collagen protein at this point, which adds even more cacao, a little bit of sea salt, along with monk fruit and or stevia. This is what's going to give it that sweet flavor. Now, if you don't have that protein powder, you could use a little bit of maple syrup. You could add in a teaspoon of a vanilla extract. You could give it your own pinch of salt. Whisk everything together over high heat until it is smooth and hot. Pour it into a mug and enjoy. The whole thing takes less than 5 minutes. This is one of those snacks that genuinely feels like a treat, but is actively working for your health in the background instead of against it. Number 9, this next snack might be the most underrated one on this list. I'm talking about chia seed pudding. A half a cup serving made the way I'm about to show you comes in at about 150 to 175 calories. To me, it's like the best dessert. It tastes like ice cream. It is one of the most filling snacks you can eat at the calorie count. That's because chia seeds, when they get wet, they absorb up to 12 times their weight in liquid and they form a thick gel. That gel sits in your stomach and slows down digestion dramatically. In fact, there's a study where researchers gave people a snack with chia seeds before their lunch, and the chia group ended up eating 25% fewer calories than the group that didn't have any. And on top of that, chia seeds are one of the highest fiber foods on the planet. Just 2 tablespoons gives you about 10 grams of fiber, which is close to half of what most people need in their entire day. Now, here's how I make it. In a bowl or in a blender, combine 1 can of organic coconut milk, half a cup of chia seeds, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, maybe some cinnamon if you'd like, and then a scoop or 2 of my vanilla collagen protein. Just blend that or mix that for a minute or 2 until it's smooth and coated. You can then pour the mixture into small jars if you want them in containers to go and cover them, or just in a bowl. Wait at least 2 or 3 hours. Usually I go overnight. That works best, and you're ready to eat it. You can top it with fresh berries. Right before you eat, you can top it with the cinnamon. I enjoy it just straight up. That recipe makes 4 servings, which means 1 batch on Sunday gives you snacks for the whole week. Number 10, let's get to the snack that I teased at the beginning of this video, a way to turn pasta itself into a lower calorie snack. And there are actually 2 ways to do this. The first one is konjac noodles, also called shirataki noodles. These have gone viral online over the past few years because of how ridiculously low calorie they are. A full 8-ounce bag has just 5 to 10 calories total. You can literally eat an entire bag of these noodles for fewer calories than 2 bites of regular pasta. The reason for that is they're made from the root of a plant called konjac, which is almost entirely a special kind of fiber called glucomannan. This fiber absorbs up to 50 times its weight in water, forming a thick gel in your stomach that keeps you full for hours. So as a fat loss tool, the science is genuinely impressive. Here's the problem. For a lot of people, konjac noodles are pretty miserable to actually eat. They have a strong kind of fishy smell straight out of the bag, and they're kind of rubbery texture, sort of hard to get used to. And they require a multi-step process of rinsing, boiling, dry frying just to make them edible. On top of that, they can cause digestive issues for some people. So while they technically work as a low-calorie snack, they're not quite what I recommend. Instead, try zucchini pasta, also known as Zoodles, zucchini noodles. This is a way better option for a few reasons. First, it's still incredibly low calorie. A full 2-cup serving comes in at about 40 to 70 calories. Second, it's a real whole food that your body recognizes and digests easily. And third, it actually has nutrients. A cup of zucchini gives you more potassium than a banana, which helps support healthy blood pressure levels. It's loaded with antioxidants that protect your eyes as you age. And it's a good source of fiber, good source of vitamin C and folate, all nutrients most people don't get enough of. And to make it, all you need is a zucchini and a tool called a spiralizer. Costs about $15, and it turns the zucchini into long noodle-shaped strains. So once your zucchini is spiralized, sprinkle the noodles with a little sea salt, and then just let them sit in the colander for about 10 minutes. That step pulls out some of the extra water, and then it keeps your final dish from getting soggy. After 10 minutes, blot them dry with a paper towel, and then from there, you got a few different low-calorie ways to prepare them, most of which come in at well under 100 calories. You can eat them as a raw, quick Mediterranean-style salad. You can saute them in a hot pan with garlic and olive oil. You can toss them in clean marinara sauce for a real spaghetti night feel. Or you can pair them with a protein, like a sliced hard-boiled egg, some sauteed shrimp, creamy cottage cheese sauce, some chicken breast to turn them into a little more filling snack that keeps you full for hours or as an entire meal itself.